Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, episode 94. I'm Tony, and with me, as usual, is Ben. Are you there, mate?
How you doing, mate? I didn't know you were Scottish.
Aye, I know. It's all the beer. You all good?
Yeah, good, mate.
Good stuff.
You?
And James, are you there?
I'm here, Tony.
Aye. That kind of style I've seen crushing in your hands. Happy days. It's nice to be back. Just a quick reminder to everybody who listens, whether that's YouTube, Spotify, please drop us a like, subscribe, hit that subscribe. There's still a crazy amount of percentage of people that listen on YouTube and still not subscribe. So please just take your time just to hit that subscribe. Put the notifications on, hit that thumbs up. And if you're listening on Spotify, Anchor, give us a rating, a nice rating. It'll be very much appreciated. So a busy weekend of football. A good weekend of football as well, I might add. James, let's see how your team has done, mate.
Yeah, I haven't really had a chance to look at how good this is compared to others, but I think 72 points is pretty decent this week.
Yeah.
De Gea got me -2. My Newcastle back line, though, that's the thing that's really propelling me at the moment, as I keep saying. Trippier 12, Shah 8, Botman 8, Burn 5. Midfield not so good at the moment. Mahrez 5, Almiron, who's on the chopping block, 0, and Odegaard 0. I heard that Odegaard got his assist removed for some reason. I haven't looked into it in any detail, but there's a lot of people saying it was definitely his assist, so that's a bit annoying.
It's one of them ones that counts in FPL but doesn't count in Dream Team.
Right, okay.
I think he shot and it's slightly clipped the defender, and then it landed towards Nketiah.
Yeah.
And then obviously Nketiah scored.
Yeah, so no FPL assists in Dream Team. Up front, Rashford 8. What a goal today, by the way. I was watching it and I was like, fucking hell, it's gone in. Shit. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. It was a great goal. I was literally leapt out of my chair, which doesn't happen very often these days. Yeah, I like a great goal from Rashford.
Closet Man United fan.
Hey?
You're a closet Man United fan.
Let's not go there. I will just say no to be polite. But
I'll tell you what, that is the first time in my household I've ever fist pumped a United goal. I even got out of my seat and give it a yes. Come on, Rashy lad. But then you realise basically everybody in the top 100 has him.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make a jot of difference.
Yeah, moving on. Haaland, 28 points. And Kane playing tomorrow. So 72 points. Seems pretty decent. Yeah, quite happy with that.
I love how you went, yeah, Haaland, 28 points. As if that's just fucking standard.
Well, yeah, everyone's got him, haven't they? It's you'd be mad not to have him.
I think there were one team in the top 100 didn't have him.
There's a team in.
I'm sure I looked at the stats whilst the game was going on, and the ownership was 99.9% in the top 100. 99% in the top 100. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got it up here. So Rashford's got 99% and Haaland's 98% in the top 100 now.
Ooh.
You have to be a pretty brave person to take Haaland out, I think. Although there was a couple of opportunities, wasn't there, where they didn't have as many fixtures in a week. And if you'd done it, and if you were brave, I know Oz did it in the Patreon, in the Discord, didn't he? He took him out for a week, but fortunately he had the sense to bring him back. Because can you imagine not?
He took him out and sneaked in Alvarez's points.
Yeah.
When he scored in midweek and then brought Haaland back in. He's done it right. Like you say, if you could get it like that, that's perfect. So fair play, Oz.
Yeah, Haaland didn't play, did he, in one game? He sat the game out completely.
Yeah, which were a surprise as well. Yeah.
Interesting.
So we're about seeing now how many points now, James?
1,196.
Happy days. Happy days. Done a lot of climbing that team on it.
It has. I mean, it was way behind Ben's. I noticed a few weeks ago, and then I noticed I got within 5 points of Ben, and now I've overtaken. Not that I'm keeping a close eye on it or anything.
Right, on to my team. Poor week, really. 51 points. I made my last 3 transfers all at once because I was sick of suffering without Rashford. I had Martial in. Foden not getting a game as well. So my last 3 transfers were Foden out for Shaw, De Bruyne to Ward-Prowse, and Martial to Rashford. I've got a little bit more heavy at United at the back line. Obviously not for today's game. More for the Forest doubleheader. And then the game's continuing from there. I think the United back line might be able to pip the Newcastle back line going forward. We'll see. But yeah, they're the 3 transfers I made. So De Gea got me a -2, Wan-Bissaka a 1-pointer, Burn 5 points, Trippier 12 points, Shaw a -3, conceded 3 goals and the yellow card. Not great. Fernandez got 2 points for his assist. He failed to get a 7 rating. Almiron 0 points. I thought Almiron should have had a goal. Ward-Prowse, who did have a goal,
Yeah.
and he got it chalked off. 0 points. Could have been such a different game. It could have been a goal and Starman. We had a 1-0 win for the Saints, but as it were, he ended up with 0 points. Rashford 8 points. Brilliant goal. He's an absolute man on fire at the minute. He looks so dangerous. Top player. Haaland 28 points. That's just standard in it, James. And Kane yet to play, so Kane's a little bit of a differential because I know that some people still hold Salah. 51 points, 1,214. No transfers left in this side now. That's been done till Feb, which I'll start to work away midway through that to get the European guys back in. My top team is 22nd, I think it is.
Nice one.
And it was 59 points before the weekend off top spot. It's now 49 points. So regardless of where my position is, I'm just trying to bring that tally down to the top, the guy at the top. And that's still got Kane to play tomorrow night. So hopefully tomorrow night I'm saying I'm a few places higher than that as well, a little bit closer to the top. And that's where I am.
Nice to see you put in my tip last week of Ward-Prowse. I did do it myself in some other teams. I was gutted he didn't get that goal got chalked off. That was annoying.
Yeah, it was nearly a perfect move. Nearly. But he's still got another game. He's got the double against Newcastle, hasn't he? And they've got decent fixtures, Southampton. And if he's playing that role just behind the striker, he's such a good player, Ward-Prowse. I'm still not disappointed with the move. I know he got 0 points, but I think it might turn out to be right, that move.
What do you think about that goal that got chalked off then? Do you think it was a foul?
It was a bit soft, I thought. But I could see why they chalked it off. I didn't. It wasn't a clear. They should have given it. It was. I was like, no, it's a bit soft. Was it? They're only supposed to intervene if it's
exactly
clearly wrong, and they did intervene, and it was a bit sort of okay. If you get the microscope out, he caught his foot. A bit annoyed by that.
It's one of them where if you're a Southampton fan, it's never a foul. Or it should be given. And if you're a Villa fan, all day long. It's one
Yeah.
of them, isn't it?
Also, with how they slow everything down, it makes
Yeah.
things look worse.
Yeah.
If they just played it at normal speed, it wouldn't even look like a push, I don't think.
No. And James has just hit the nail on the head. He's intervened when it's necessary. It wasn't necessary.
No.
You just rewind games. How far do you want to go back and see a little bit of an indiscretion in a challenge or in a throw-in or whatever it might be? You can't get involved when you're not needed. And maybe that was one of them. Like I say, depends which side of the fence you're sitting on as well. Yeah. Ben, your team?
Right. 65 points this week. De Gea in goal, -2. I've got 3 Newcastle defenders now. I brought Dan Burn in for Harry Maguire because Harry Maguire is not playing at all.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to get another piece to that Newcastle defence while the train's chugging along, getting those clean sheet points. So we've got 5 for Burn, 8 for Share, and 12 for Trippier for Starman. And then I didn't want to sell this guy, De Bruyne, but I didn't have Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes last week was on fire. He's got 4 for 2 over City, so I thought it's worth the gamble bringing Bruno Fernandes in for that, getting 4 goes at it instead of 2, and then I'll try and get De Bruyne back in next month. So far, Fernandes got an assist, 2 points, didn't get a rating, as pointed out by Flower Pot Man on the Discord.
He was on the rating, wasn't he?
I thought he was on 5 points, but when I checked after Flower Pot Man pointed it out that he wasn't on a rating.
He did exactly the same.
But we still got 3 more tickets to go with Fernandes. Yeah. Well, De Bruyne's got 1 left. Almiron, 0 points. Mahrez got an assist, 5 points, and he had a goal chalked off, didn't he?
Oh, no.
So close. Yeah. Joe Linton, he was on for getting a rating, 3 points. I think he got a 6.97 in the end, 6.97.
Because of his yellow card.
Yeah. He got a yellow card at the end, didn't he, for pushing.
Yeah. It's just a killer. It kills ratings, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I would have been happy with that. 3 points. Rashford, wonder goal. Kane to play tomorrow, and Haaland, standard hat trick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
standard.
Not bad.
Good week, mate.
This team's up to 55k now, getting up there now. This is one of my worst teams. It's my 5th best team now. And my best team is inside the top 1k, finally.
Yay!
81 points this week for the best team. I've got 5 Newcastle at the back for that one, though.
Yeah.
So flying. Yeah.
Whereabouts is it? My second team is at 734.
Your second team's 7. What do you mean? Oh, right.
1369 points.
Mine's got 1359.
Oh, so it's right up the arse then.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm about 80 points off the top 100 now.
Yeah.
So it's not far behind.
We all know you're going to finish top 10 then.
I'll be happy if I get top 500. But I've got to keep pushing.
Yeah. We'll have to start calling you late riser, or someone else has called that, aren't they? We'll have to find another name for you. Any suggestions? Feel free to contact us for Ben's new nickname.
Yeah, drop it in the comments below. Right. I am starting to timestamp these as we had a request from one of our listeners, Mac. So
what you're saying is they want to fast forward us? Is that what you're saying, Tony?
Basically, if you don't listen to my waffle, No, they want to be able to flick to where they was from. I'm hoping. So, listener questions. Here we go. And I'm hoping you two get this question because I'm lost. So Oz has been on the Discord and asked, "What's the best shop in Wakey?" And I'm guessing he's on about Wakefield.
Yeah, but I don't have a clue what he's on about.
I know what he's on about.
Do you?
Go on, James.
Wakey Wines.
Wakey
TikTok
wine.
sensation. It's an off license in Wakey that's selling cans of Prime for about 10. You know those cans of Prime that were brought out by those
Yeah.
YouTubers. Have you heard about this?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have.
And it's well, I was going to swear then. I'll probably try to keep the swearing down, but how effing ridiculous. Yeah, the people are paying like 20 quid for a can of this Prime stuff. Maybe that's what we should do. You know,
Yeah.
let's come
Tonic.
up with our own tonic, guys.
Yeah. Tonic is your
Come get some
medicine.
tonic.
Come get some tonic.
Yeah. Yeah, so this Wakey Wines, right, was selling this Prime drink for 20 quid a can or whatever it was, which it should be like £2 in Asda or something. And they started doing TikTok videos and it's all gone viral. It was a bit like the Binley fish and chip shop near Coventry, where they did a TikTok sensation video, and everyone was like, "Oh!" And people were like posting videos of themselves outside this chippy, going, "I've got my Binley fish and chips."
That's
Binley
you,
mega
Ben.
chippy, that was
Ben
it.
Lee.
Benley.
That's fucking Ben. Ben
Binley.
Lee. Ben Lee.
Binley's just is a little suburb of Coventry. I know that because I used to live in Coventry. I'm pretty sure that there might be another Binley, but I thought that's where it was.
No, he's
And-
there, sat there, Ben Lee.
Oh, Ben Lee. Oh, right, yeah. I missed that one. I need more Stella.
There's a shit team that plays near Blackburn as well called Burnley.
Burnley.
Yeah.
And there's Ben Me.
There's Ben Me as well. He got me 6 points in fantasy today for a clean sheet for Brentford. Anyway, yeah. So right. So that's the shopping wakey. I mean, I saw a lot of people falling out and getting a bit angry, like trying to get all of these bottles of Prime. It's like fucking hell. The amount of influence like that TikTokers and YouTubers have over people now is absolutely crazy. Yeah, I think tonic juice might be the way to go. So I'm on it. Get in touch and put the feelers out for a tonic energy drink. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, it might stop you making shit punts. Who knows? Right. Aman. Another story man for Trippier. Should we ever leave or let him go, even when Europe starts next month? Should we keep him until the end of the season? Jambo, what are we doing?
At the beginning half of the season, a lot of us didn't have him, even though we knew he was a good asset, because we thought, well, we've got to have players that are playing in Europe.
Yeah.
He is so good that he didn't need those European games to get where he is in the table. So I would say he's essential, and I've got no plans of taking him out, even when Europe starts. I don't see it unless there's like a massive drop off in form from Newcastle. I just don't see getting rid of him. He's a ratings magnet.
Yeah.
Gets a few goals. Essential, I would call him.
Yeah. Ben?
Yeah, I agree. We just had 7-star mans now, 15 ratings, and he hasn't really done a lot. He hasn't scored many. He's only scored 1 goal, and he's got 5 assists. Like, it's just unbelievable how many points he's got so far, 172. So Yeah, I've got no plans to take him out. I'm going to be keeping him for a while. What do you
Yeah.
think, Tony?
No, I completely agree. Obviously, the fixtures do turn for a little while with Newcastle. Just they have probably 3 or 4 tricky fixtures that they probably a good percentage that they're going to concede in. But with Trippier, I don't think you're actually like just looking at the clean sheets because he takes the free kicks, he takes the corners. So you could and like you say, he's a ratings magnet. So he's usually going to get a 3 rating. He's usually going to get a star man. So once the fixtures do turn for Newcastle, my plan is probably just to tweak away from them and leave Trippier in. He'll probably be one that stays there. Yeah, I don't think you can get rid of somebody who is consistently getting 13 points. Yeah, it's a no-brainer for me.
I said 15-7 ratings. It's 19-7 ratings.
I mean, that's unreal.
Yeah.
Like I say, with the amount of games, I know Newcastle aren't going to have the fixture quantity as we get into the European months and stuff, and they're out of the FA Cup as well, so that's
Yeah.
going to impact that. They are going to be a little bit light on fixtures, but if he's getting 13 points in a game, I mean that's as good as some, say, City defenders who can't get ratings because they just don't quite get there. They get for 2 clean sheets in a row. It's more. So, yeah, he's a hold. He's a hold because people like that who get them ratings and get them star mans as often as he's getting, they're just a must. A lot. It's probably why we usually call Cancelo essential, or we used to, because he just loved getting them ratings. So, yeah, he's a keep, isn't he? Powley, what would be your money no object 11 now for the rest of January and February? Quick 11. I'll have a run through mine first. We'll switch it around a little bit. So my run through 11, if I had to pick a team now for January and February, I've got a little bit more heavy on the United defence. I've got De Gea, Shaw, Martinez, Trippier and Shaw. That's me back 5. Just inched it in the way of United. Fernandes in middle with KDB and Mahrez. Rashford up top with Haaland and Kane. Don't think there's much surprise there. I did think. What about Wilson? You know, Newcastle having these extra games against Southampton, a double up on penalties, but Isaac being back puts me off Wilson a little bit. So
You've just got rid of one striker made of glass, Tony, which is Anthony Martial, and you're considering bringing another striker in made of glass?
it's not. No, I mean, it was for this 11. I was thinking Wilson's got some decent fixtures, especially up until mid-Feb. Would he be able to sneak out Harry Kane? No. I went safe. I played it safe. I went for Kane. Yeah. I'm not taking any punts. What do you reckon, James?
Very similar to yours. David De Gea in goal. Trippier, Shaw, and Martinez at the back. Yeah. I've only gone for 3 in three defenders. I've got Odegaard in my midfield, and the other 3 are the same as yours, which is Mahrez, Fernandes, and KDB, I think.
Yeah.
And up front, I've got Haaland, Rashford, and I did have Kane, but I'm now thinking maybe Nketiah, but I'm going to say Kane for now. But he looks like he's doing quite well, and so I'm that third striker spot for me is potentially up for grabs, but we'll see how Spurs get on tomorrow.
Ain't it crazy? Ain't it crazy? Now, when we started this season and over the probably first few weeks, we were basically saying Haaland, Kane, Salah is an absolute shoo-in.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at it and we're going, Haaland, Rashford's an absolute must. And even the third spot's up for grabs. I mean, Salah's not even coming to contention. it's mental. It's mental what's happening. One big injury to these big lads as well. That will shake things up, definitely. Ben, how have you gone, mate?
I've got a differential. Come on.
Ooh, it's Callum Wilson.
No,
It's Jamie Vardy, isn't it?
my midfield and my front three are exactly the same as James's. My defence, so I've got a differential in defence. I've got Trippier and Shaw, and then my differential is Gabriel from Arsenal.
Yeah.
He's like probably the most nailed, either him or Salah and Saliba in the back line for Arsenal.
Yeah.
They've got good fixtures through the next few months, and I've got De Gea in goal, so same goalkeeper. Like you said, I've got Salah on my substitutes there, just because they've got a possibility of a couple of games being rearranged for January and February. But if I had to pick from now, he wouldn't be in the team. But I'm just saying they've got 2 games there against Wolves and Chelsea to be rearranged. They could be fitted in at some point. So it might be an option if they've got extra games. But they don't look too good at the moment. They look a bit toothless, don't they, Liverpool? So, yeah.
They definitely do. I mean,
terrible.
If you're anybody, so forget about Salah's 2 or 3 years as an absolute dream team king. If you watched, say, the last 3 or 4 games of Liverpool, you are not touching Salah with a barge ball. Right? His threat is minimal. When he does seem to get into an area decent and have a shot or have an attempt, it doesn't seem great. I don't know whether has Salah ever been just a man that runs off confidence. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. We know how good of a player he is now, how deadly he can be, but whatever is going on there, it's just not. It's not clicking. Yeah, he would be going nowhere. He's not even in my thoughts, Salah. I didn't even fret about him this weekend. That's how bad that is. I'm up in 22nd place in the country. I don't have Mo Salah. I didn't. I know there were a few teams above that did. I didn't fret.
The whole team's in flux at the moment, so I don't necessarily think it's Salah's fault.
No, I don't.
He's missing his the support structure around him. It's the team's changing constantly. We're just not, and we've been playing Oxlade-Chamberlain up until this week on the left-hand side of the front three. So that tells you everything you need to know about Liverpool's striking options at the moment. Jota's back in training, so perhaps that will mix things up a bit because we've got no one pressing from the front, not like Firmino or Jota does. So I think Salah's fortunes could turn around, but we need to get some of our injured players back.
Yeah. I think with Salah, we just have to watch and try and time that right. I'm sure he'll come good before the end of the season.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It's timing it, jumping onto that because I think Liverpool will come good before the end of the season. They'll sort it out, surely. There's too many talented players in that team, but they can't sort it out. But I mean, yeah, it's getting on at the right time. Right. Man, again, Man City versus Arsenal in the FA Cup next week. Will the result on who loses have an impact on our potential transfers next month or make little difference? Ben, this is one for you, mate, with your you love your fixtures and you love your permutations. How much is that going to impact stuff going into the next month?
Well, the good thing is it's before the new transfers come through, isn't it? So we get to see who goes through.
Yeah.
Whoever goes through got the possibility of an extra 4 games with the fifth round, the quarter final, the semi final, and the final. So Man City have the extra game in February because they play in the first leg of the Champions League. So that's the big. That's a big opportunity. If you've got Man City already, that's a good opportunity to get an extra game. And then if they beat Arsenal in the FA Cup, that's 2 extra games in the space of like a week. So if you're on Man City already, I wouldn't worry too much. What do you think?
No, well, I've gone to you because I know you're the expert. I think you've hit the nail on the head basically. With if City win, they've got 2 extra fixtures in that month, and that is a big deal, and that will affect our potential transfers because we're going to go for transfer volume and of the likes. So luckily, man, we get to see who the winner is before the new transfers, like Ben said. So it is going to make a difference. Of course it is, because it's going to influence both teams' fixture volume. So, yeah, it's definitely a big matchup. And it's one that will impact quite a lot of teams going forward.
It's not really much of a big difference until you get to like February the 21st. Obviously, that's when Man City play their Champions League game.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I said, they could have a extra game on the 28th in the FA Cup. And we get to see the draw for the Europa League is 24th of February. So we'll get to see who Arsenal play in March. Because they're already through to the last 16.
Yeah, they qualified, didn't they? Yeah, it's a good one. Right, Flower Pot Man's been on. This is one. You're at a Chinese buffet. It's the end of the night, and you're all absolutely starving after smashing pint after pint down yours. You can only choose 3 Chinese dishes, but it's unlimited on the selection. Which 3 are you all choosing? La Bosch. Jambo, do you like a Chinese, mate?
I'm quite partial to a Chinese. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
You know, one of my go-to takeaways. Yeah.
Excellent.
I think I'd go for a crispy duck and pancakes. Would be my starter, maybe with a bit of prawn toast, and the main I would go Chinese beef curry with egg fried rice. Possibly, if I was feeling naughty, I might have some chips instead of the rice. With the
Hey,
Chinese curry with chips is very good.
okay, now you're making me hungry. Ben, do you like a Chinese, mate?
Yeah, quite. I like a Chinese. I think you picked a good one there, Peking duck with crispy duck with pancakes. I like a chow mein, like a special chow mein, and also like you said, what do you call it? Chicken curry.
I used to know a girl called Special Chow Mein. Anyway, digressing.
Why was she called Special Chow Mein, James?
How special chow mein?
I don't think we should go there.
Right. Do you know, I'm not a Chinese lover, me. I do remember, I do like a crispy wonton dipped in sweet and sour sauce and a beef satay and noodles. But other than that, do you know, I think me and my missus have been together, 12 years now, and we have never once had a Chinese.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So my last Chinese were probably 13 or 14 years ago. And I had duck pancakes, and they were fucking brilliant. But I'm just not a Chinese fan, Flower Pot Man. So yeah,
Where
but
when I lived in Spain, you could get a 3-course Chinese meal for less than €5.
Fucking hell.
Pretty much
Wow.
everywhere you could get it. Like all the Chinese restaurants.
So, two similar questions here. We've got Aman again. With United having the biggest fixture volume by far in February, which United players should we target? And TS, who's coming on Twitter, with another fixture added, how deep are we going into United in February? He already has De Gea, Shaw, Bruno, and Rashford in his best side. Is it worth adding Dalot, Ericsson, or another? What do you reckon, James?
I think in TS's case, I think Martinez is worth the shout. I think he's probably the most nailed defender. The most nailed centre back, certainly. They paid a lot of money for him. He is, even though he's very small, he's actually quite good.
Yeah, he is.
I wouldn't go to Ericsson. His numbers aren't good enough. There's plenty of other options other than Ericsson. I think this is the classic case of going for fixture volume for the sake of it. I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka is an option whilst Dallo is out. But if Dallo was fit, I'd want him in. Although saying that, I'm not sure I'd jump straight on him because he's already broken down once, and I think Ten Hag will manage his minutes. But there are definitely some other options in that United side that are worth having. Martinez would be my first choice, and I think Dallo, when he's fit, definitely would be one, but not touching Ericsson personally.
Yeah, pretty much agree. Yeah, TS has got down De Gea, Shaw, Bruno, and Rash definitely are options. And I would say if you're chasing in your mini leagues or you're behind on the leaderboard, you want to get up there and try and beat the Newcastle blocks. I wouldn't mind going full United defence just for the fixture volume.
Yeah.
So Varane, Martinez, Wan-Bissaka at the moment, and Shaw and De Gea. Yeah, that looks like that's the best defense at the minute. They played the last 2 games as well. That back five. Midfielders, Ericsson's a bit of he's not really even been convincing, and Anthony's a bit inconsistent. So yeah, just Bruno from the midfield for me. There's a lot of good midfielders from other teams that are like talismans for a similar price to Ericsson and Anthony. Yeah, and Rashford's obviously on fire. That's it really for me. Obviously, keep an eye on Dallo.
Yeah, I've got that. Shaw, Bruno, Rashford, De Gea, obviously the obvious ones. And I've just got defence because they look pretty decent. Obviously, I know they conceded 3 today against Arsenal, but they're looking pretty solid, United. Martinez has looked good. Varane, and that's probably their nailed centre half pairing. Wan-Bissaka's looked good, and like James was saying, is that Dalot was possibly rushed back last time, thrown in, played maybe a few too many minutes and broke down. And Wan-Bissaka has played well in his absence, so he's a cheaper option into that back line. So, yeah, Ericsson, I don't. Every now and again, he's going to flare up in it. He's going to have a goal and an assist, but he's just not consistent enough with points for me. And if you wanted to take a punt on another United midfield, it probably for me be Anthony. But again, he's just the inconsistencies is there, and he's not somebody I think you can rely on in Dream Team at the moment in time. So I'd probably just avoid that and go elsewhere, especially his price bracket.
Could I just say I considered Varane, but given his age and previous injury record, I'm not sure he's going to play 2 games a week, which is why I didn't include him. But he might be a great option.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
wanted to add that.
Defensively, like United defence with the amount of games that are coming up, I think they're all decent options, other than possibly Maguire and Lindelof. the rest of them should play the majority of the games. Yeah, like I said, everyone seems to have a bit of a sketchy injury record, so you're always running the risk. But yeah, good options. Right, Dream T Patrick, DT Patrick, our mate on the Discord. Is fixture volume as key as some people seem to think? Aren't there problems with rotation, injuries, cards, fatigue? Is less sometimes more? Ben?
Yeah, fixture volume is a big thing for me. I always seem to do very well in the second half of the season because I pick players with extra games. But like James was saying before, it's got to be the the right players. um, Obviously, if you're picking like your Casemiro's and Ericsson's, they're probably only going to get you like 3 points. So yeah, you want to be going for like players that got extra games but are explosive players. And if they haven't got as many games, like you said, that is less sometimes more. Yeah, like Odegaard or something like that. It's a good player to have in your team. He didn't have a lot of fixtures last month, but he's worth having him in because he's a good price.
Yeah.
Just got to be the right players, really. Obviously, don't pick rotation risk players, injury prone players as well. Yeah. So, what do you think, James?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think you've nailed it really. The problem with like Man City or something like that, well, you can look at it two ways, can't you? You could say City are going to have probably a load of extra fixtures coming up. They've already got more than most,
Mm.
not as many as United, but there's a good chance they'll get some extra ones in there as well. We know Pep's going to rotate, but even with some of those players, even though they're playing less games, but they've got more fixtures, it can even out, can't it? Because we know they're a top side. So yeah, it's a tricky one. It's about picking the right players, like you say, Ben. That it's all you've got to think it all through. You've got to think
Yeah.
about who are they going to bring in as an alternative if they've got lots of options. Which one's playing the big games. There's so many factors. I don't think it's a black and white scenario. It's player by player, and it's like Ben said, pick the right players to do that with. And yeah, don't like I said earlier, don't just go for fixture volume for the sake of it because it doesn't always work that way.
Yeah, it's massive. I mean, fixture volume is massive. It is massive. And if you say a team like Newcastle have had the fixture volume this month, say, we know they're nailed defence. If they've got 6 games this month and somebody only has 3, we know Trippier's going to be playing 6 games. The other team, their defender will be playing 3. With City, it's a little bit more difficult. They might have 6 games, but is that player you're bringing going to play them 6 games? You can always try and second guess Pep and stuff like that, but I think ultimately you got to attack fixture volume always. Always attack fixture volume, but they have to be pretty nailed players. Like De Bruyne, if City have 6 games and you've got De Bruyne, you're not taking him out thinking, oh, he might get rotated, or you're not putting him in because you think he might be rotated. If he plays 4 or 5 of those 6 games, you probably that's pretty decent. It's like the players on the fringes, or say like I don't know, Foden. He's more risky. He might only play 4. He might only play 3. You just don't know what's going on. But fixture volume, I think it's massive. I think it's one of the most important parts of the game. You need to maximise. You can't second guess too far ahead what's going to go on. So yeah, I'd always attack fixtures early doors. And if obviously injuries, fatigue, suspensions, and that come along, then that's what your 5 transfers are for. I think we're pretty spoilt with 5 transfers compared to how the game used to be. I think so.
Definitely.
I think with pet roulette and stuff like that, and I think you're able to, I don't know, just able to like tweak it a little bit more in your favour, even if these things come aboard. So yeah, fixture volume's massive still, Patrick. For me anyway. Right, Wadey's been on. Mudryk at Chelsea. Is this the new punt for Lee Hooper? Lee, calm down. Stop taking punts, mate. I like what I see and potentially may bring him in for Almiron after the Carabao Cup games are done. Mudryk, I know, Ben, you didn't see him play. James, did you manage to see his little cameo?
I did. Yeah, he came on the 55th minute, and he looked electric. I
He
have
did.
to say,
Yep.
he's super quick. But not just Traore head down running fast. He's got skill and
Yep.
his feet are fast. He looks like he could be massive potential. I saw a comment the other day actually. Someone saying he could be a future Ballon d'Or winner. And
Yep.
it's well early days, and he's still only 22, I think.
Yeah, he's a young lad.
What I saw from a player making his debut in that short amount of time, I was seriously impressed. Poor old James Milner trying to shackle him at the ripe old age of 38, 39 now. Blimey. He did look really good. His goal record is not bad, but you've got to remember that he's 22, so he scored in his senior career, which isn't that long, in 29 appearances for Shakhtar Donetsk. He scored 9 goals in 29 appearances, so that's pretty good for a youngster. But he looked like he had that X factor, and I will be keeping a very close eye on him after seeing that short cameo against Liverpool.
Yeah, definitely. Completely agree with that. He looked good. He's quick feet, tricky. He could have scored. I think he had a couple of opportunities to
He
score.
could, yeah.
And I seen someone on the Discord call him Timo Murdick.
That's harsh.
I can't remember who that was, but that made me chuckle. Yeah, he's definitely got a bit of talent about him. They paid a lot of money for him. I was asking on the Discord, what's his price? Where is it?
3.5, wasn't it?
3.5 million. I mean, yeah, he looks good. He looks good, and he's definitely someone who's on the notepad. He's on the watch list. He's because Chelsea have some good fixtures going up as well. Yeah, no, don't start with a fucking Chelsea train. But yeah, you know, it was a difficult game, Liverpool Chelsea, because you got two teams that are out of form. It's a difficult one to assess, definitely, because you can't say one team did well. It was just one of them games where it's two teams that are pretty low on confidence, ultimately. But he did spark some life into it, Murdick, and if he can continue that through next few games, then why not? Why not? Right, Andy Barnett's been on. He's kept it short this time. He said he won't try and confuse Tony with his layout. So if you're allowed to have Haaland, if you were not allowed to have Haaland, in your squad, which 3 strikers would you pick to be in your squad from now until Europe starts next month? Who have you gone for, Ben?
So I would go for Kane, Rashford, and Nketiah is putting his hand up in he at the moment, but I don't know. It's tough. I want to say Salah, but I don't know. From now, probably got to go with Nketiah, haven't you? In form. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Nketiah.
James?
I would seriously consider 4-4-2.
It's a good shout.
Good point.
So no, after today's performance, and if you look at Nketiah's record since Jesus has been out, it's been pretty good. So I agree with Ben that Nketiah could be the one to go alongside Rashford and Kane. I don't fancy. You were talking about Che Adams over on our WhatsApp group, weren't you? But weren't you, Tony? We talked you out of that one.
Yeah.
You've got your Weghorsts. I mean, there's not a huge selection there that you would seriously consider, is there? Yeah,
Wilson?
4-4-2 would be my answer.
4-4-2 sounds good. I did do Rashford, Kane. I put Wilson in. Fixture volume. We're going from January to February. Newcastle have good fixtures still. Penalty taker. Yeah. Not one I'd probably do in my top side though. So that says all you need to know about that one. Right. So a couple of you regarding Chelsea and their future fortunes, especially regarding the back line. Baz Bestos has been on, and forgive me for my pronunciation here. So he's saying he's linking into Wade's question about Murdoch for Chelsea. Is Benoit Badiashile, I hope that's how you say it, as badass as his name suggests, a left-sided centre-half that as Chelsea have been desperate for, is slotted straight into the team with 2 clean sheets in a row, and he's in line for a second 0.3 rise in succession. So he wants our thoughts on Benoit. And just tying into that as well is Andy H on Twitter. If you're chasing in the main game or mini leagues, Chelsea could be a very good shout with the defence. 3 clean sheets in the last 7. 2 of those games they conceded against Man City. They've had a couple of new signings and players come back from injury. Good fixtures, and they're in Europe. So what's our thoughts? So it's a general big question about Chelsea, to be honest. Badiashile has come in. I think he signed from Monaco. He's looked very good. I watched Chelsea's last 2 games. He has looked very good. I didn't know it. I actually, at first, I thought he was a youth player. It was just because you know how many youth players Chelsea have on the books. Jesus Christ, it's just hundreds of thousands of them, and they just turn up now and again. But actually, he signed from Monaco, and he's looked the business. He's looked the business. He's doing well. Obviously, he seems to solidify them a little bit. But yeah, going into the Chelsea train, which Plevna, Andy H has asked. We've been at this time of year for the last 2 years, and we've had a couple of Chelsea trains, and I've got nightmares from it. James, you probably more than most.
Oh yeah,
you were bang up there last year, and well, you could say the rest.
yeah. It's last year I tried to be clever and move off the Liverpool block onto more of a Chelsea block to try and. I mean, at one point I was as high as 25th in the overall leaderboard, and you get to the point where you're trying to get the ideal time to jump off, a particular block onto a different one. It backfired, and I ended up finishing 190th, which is still a good rank. The only thing I think maybe we need to think about this in terms of the type of manager that Potter is. When he was manager of Brighton, and I know he didn't have necessarily the tools at his at his disposal. Sorry, that he has now at Chelsea, but they were never that great defensively, were they? Brighton under Potter. So I question whether Potter can coach a watertight defence. I don't necessarily see them being as tight as United or Arsenal or Newcastle. I'm not sure I'm willing to make that jump at the moment. I'd like to see a bit more evidence um, of them tightening up. And I will be honest, I haven't watched as much Chelsea as you um, in the last week or so, Tony. So I don't know. I'm not convinced I would be willing to jump on Chelsea yet. But if it's like one of those things, if you get in there early and it works out, happy days. But I'm not ready to make that jump.
No, don't blame you after previous experiences. Then
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Although when you're saying about that Chelsea train, the year before it did work. Remember, it did work, but obviously we're in a different team now. Yeah, I've just been looking at it, and I just think rotation constantly. They've got shitload of defenders,
yeah,
and who's going to play every week? Okay, Buddy Ashili's been brilliant for the last 2 games, 2 clean sheets with Silver at the back. They got Chalobah, they got Koulibaly, they got Fafana to come back.
Chalobah's been playing right back, hasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. So
It's just like you're saying, it's a mismatch. Where are they going to be playing? Do you know future games?
yeah, they're out of the FA Cup as well. They have one. They have one game to rearrange with Liverpool, but that's 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 at home to Liverpool. I just think there's other options. You've got United if you want to go different, because obviously Newcastle is the how would you say it, the main team that everyone's backing at the moment. So I think there's other options. Obviously, you got Arsenal coming up. Man United have got loads of fixtures, and Man City have got good fixtures as well, loads of fixtures. But obviously,
Yeah,
Man City are a bit of a rotation risk as well. But they seem to give the defenders off the bench minutes as well. So you're still getting your 5 points if they get a clean sheet. Mm.
it's true. It's true. Like I said, it's just scared me off a little bit, Chelsea. I want to see a bit more.
Yeah, I
Do
want to
want to
see
see a
more.
bit more. Murdic, he'd probably tempt me a little bit more because he's a bit of a safer option. I'd like to think he's going to probably start nearly every game. He's a big money signing. He looks talented. He might also inject that pace and that bit of what Chelsea needed, a bit of directness, I'd say.
Have you seen that meme that's come out like the last few days of Chelsea? So you got Freddie Mercury at Wembley Stadium looking out at the crowd. That's Potter looking out at the Chelsea squad. How many players he's got to pick from?
Yeah. It's brilliant. Brilliant.
I can't. It's funny. They bought Koulibaly, and you do now wonder if he's a Potter player because they've spent how much did they spend on this new guy? Do you know
What,
Benoit
Murdic? Or
Benoit
the guy from Monaco?
Badiashile?
The guy from
Um,
Monaco?
yeah.
I'm not too sure, if I'm honest, mate. We can
I'll quickly look for you.
try and get that up.
So, well, what I was going to say is, I mean, Koulibaly has been one of the most sought after centre backs for the last few years. He's getting on. He's 31 now, but in the past few years, he's been. I know Liverpool were looking at him, and loads of other sides where he was very sought after player, and they've spent a lot of money on a player that's quite getting on a bit, but he's
It's
still
true.
supposedly top quality. And it's strange that they've now gone out and bought yet another centre back that and paid a lot of money, no doubt. And Koulibaly's on the bench. I mean, how bizarre.
Yeah, he scored against Fulham as well the other day. He got man of the match on the Foot Mob app, and he got dropped. He's been dropped for the last 2 games. So that just tells you how much rotation they're going to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strange one.
It's a tricky one. Like I say, though, it's signs of improvement from Chelsea, definitely. It's just one to keep an eye on. Right. Here we go, chaps. The leagues. Do you know, I don't think I can read any of them out. No, I'm exempt from reading any of our leagues out this week.
Just quickly, Badiashile went to Chelsea for €38 million. Have you got your currency calculator?
38 million. It's not cheap.
I don't need it, Ben. That's still it's a fair wedge, isn't it?
It's about 30 million, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about 30 million. Yeah.
Not cheap. To be fair, he looks the part. He does look the part. So, yeah, fair play. Only a young lad. But they've got so many youngsters on their books, haven't they? Like Chalobah. He's so talented himself.
Yeah. Fofana's unbelievable player when he gets going.
Fofana, what did they spend on him? 90 million.
Yeah.
Koulibaly. Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, playing like 5 centre halves. What are you doing?
It'll be like Tony Pulis's Stoke. All centre halves at the back.
Got all big lads on.
Do you remember that film Brewster's Millions, where Richard Pryor has to spend like $10 million, which is an old film. That was a lot of money back then. Where he has to spend all that money in order to get $100 million. Do you think the Chelsea owner is got some sort of someone who's even more wealthy than he is offering? He says, if you spunk all this money, I will give you $100 billion.
It must be. It's looking like it, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Yeah, he seems to have plenty of cash to spend. Drag it out over a 24-year contract. You're all right, aren't you? Financial fair play won't come to get you. So, right, the top 10. So, first up, we've got the Dream Team Tonic Cash Mini League. And
Want me to read
James,
it?
Ben,
Yep.
come on. You read it out, mate.
Right, in 10th place, Leah Reid. 9th place, Tom Brindley. 8th place, Dan Bartlam. Joint 6th, we've got Lee Watson and Andy Allott. 5th place, Stephen Williams. 4th place, Tom Brindley again. 3rd place, Andy Allott again. 2nd, Simon Davis. And top of the shop, Anthony Sutcliffe. Dream Team Zone.
Tony's on fire. Your defence is terrified. Tony's on fire. Your defence is terrified. Yeah. Anyway, next league, the DT Tonic Patron League. Who's reading this? What, James?
In 10th, we have one of our own, Corner Story.
Hey!
In 9th, Anthony Sutcliffe.
Hey!
In 8th, Nicholas Statham. In 7th, Tom Brindley. In 6th, Mark McKee. 5th, Wayne Foster Crouch. 4th, Stephen Broughton. 3rd, Jake Bevan. 2nd, John Mellier. And at the top, Lee Utting.
50-point clearance there, Lee. Flying. Oh, we got another league. That we need reading out as well. The Second Chance Tonic Cash League. To give the people who didn't start the season so well, give them all a chance to right their wrongs, as it were. James?
Yeah, it looks like I'm reading this one out again. I was on it last week, but I don't know what's happened. it's still quite close, this league. So,
It
There you
is.
given
go.
it's only been running a couple of weeks, I'm still hoping I might get back into the top 10 after being on it last week. But here you go. In joint 10th, we've got Tom Brindley and Gary Paul. In joint 7th, we've got 3 teams: Stephen Holt, Andrew Haynes, and Anthony Sutcliffe. In 6th,
Yay!
Andrew Haynes. Joint 4th, we've got 2 teams: Anthony Sutcliffe and Tom Brindley.
Yay!
In 3rd, we've got Phil Russo. 2nd, Ben Lee.
What? I've dropped down.
And
Ah.
Anthony Sutcliffe.
Oh.
Tony's on fire.
It's all very close at the moment, isn't it?
It is.
I don't think we should read that one out for a few weeks.
Yeah,
till
I
I'm
think we
back
should.
till I'm back on it.
You're
We'll
very
delete.
your team's very similar to mine, Tony. I think you've got a one less Newcastle defender, but you've got extra midfielder, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
very
they
close.
are very similar. We said that about the second chance league. Is that everyone will probably come back with Newcastle blocks and yeah, so it seems it's quite a close league, but we'll see who's the bravest of them all to jump off it first and get on the next block that's going to smash it. So
Hey, Tony, I'm 14th in the main cash league now.
yeah, I've seen your name. I've
Yeah,
been watching you sneaking up there.
sneaking up there.
Yeah, I think you'll be up Ladyboy next week, won't you? You're not far off now.
Maybe
I've
another
not
2 weeks.
I've not got my second team in the main league. It's not close enough to get into the top 10 in that. Yeah, James, have you seen how far you are off the top 10? Are you going to be able to sneak in this year?
I've stopped looking, Tony, after my shocking start to the season. I don't think I'm in contention. Let's put it that way.
You're climbing up though all the time, so we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, it's been cracking as usual. If you're not signed up to the
Emotional.
Patreon yet, it has been emotional, mate. If you're not signed up to the Patreon, get yourselves across to patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. Get involved with the lads. Get involved on the Discord. It's a brilliant place to be. You definitely guarantee improve your Dream Team game. And not just that, you'll have a really good laugh at the same time. A lot of good managers giving good advice. So
Yeah, a lot of top lads in the group
there is. We have a great group.
and lasses.
And lasses. And lasses. Cheers, chaps. Next week, transfer special.
Yep.
We might have a couple of guests on next week, by the looks of it. We'll see how it goes. And yeah, see you next week.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheerio.
Yes, chaps.